Now I can save the screen. Let me know if you can see the screen now. I
Yes,
think
Prabhu.
so, right? Okay, good. So, before we start talking about Das Mula Tattva, we'll chant the Pranam Mantra. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatadham Bande Shri Gurum Dintaranam Pramananda Madhvam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachyata Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, इसमें पावन आचार्य जी भाई से प्रभुपाद की जय. So we are discussing about as it is, and this is coming from Jaiva Dharma by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Dash means 10, Mool means original, Tattva means element or principles. So these 10 elements, wherever they are, if the commentary or the description that we have or a statement that we are going through is talking about these 10 elements, then we consider it as it is. Okay, so that's what we have to know, these 10 elements. And then there are other references where these 10 points might be consolidated in 5 or 9, and we'll see that also. But I would like all of you to remember, once I go to next slide, maybe you can take a snap of it so that you have it. These are the 10 tattvas. It has to be there to make a commentary, adjective commentary. So it says, Amanya prahatatvam hari iha paramam sarva shaktim rasavadhim tadvina amshasya jivan prakriti kavilatam tadvimuktam shabhaved. भेदाभेद प्रकाशम शकलम अपि हरे साधनम शुदा भक्ति साध्यम तत्प्रतिमेवति उपदेशति जनान गौरचंद्र श्याम स्वयं सह. So what are those things? First it says that amanaya, right? We say Vedic, right? So first that the teaching must be coming from Veda, not somebody's mental speculation. Okay, not that I think, you think, jena tena prakarena, not like that. It must be coming from the Veda. That's number one. So Veda is the Praman. And it's to talk about these 9 elements. What is those 9 elements? Sri Hari is the Param Tattva. Bhagwan Sri Krishna Swayam Roop. He is absolute truth. And he means Krishna, is possessor of all the strength, all the power, all the opulence that is there. Krishna is possessor of that. He's Akhil Rasa Amrita Sindhu. He is the person who reciprocation. He reciprocates with all types of mellows. Example is given that when Krishna was brought in front of Kamsa in the battlefield, it was an assembly, where everybody was sitting. So many people from Kamsa side were sitting there. People from Krishna side were sitting there. Relatives of Nand Maharaj were there. And Krishna and Balram, they had to fight with Chanura and Mustika in the assembly. Kamsa as a king wanted to see. Swaracharya says that when friends of Krishna saw Krishna Balram, they saw, oh, this is my friend Krishna. How he can fight with such a strong man, Chanura and Mustika. They had friendship, Russia. All the gopis, they looked at Krishna. They, oh, this is my soft Krishna. We have done Madhurya dance with him. So they were seeing Krishna as a beloved, the object of the love. All the women who were of Krishna's motherly type, they would say Krishna, oh, Bacha Krishna, Krishna is baby, how he can fight with Chanura and Mustika. So they had their Vatsalyaras coming out. All the friends, Gopas, who were there in the assembly, they were looking at Krishna. And they saw, oh, how this teenager man, gentleman, my friend Krishna, can fight with all of these great personalities, Chanura and Mustika. On the other side, people such as Kamsa, he was extremely fearful. This is the man who are predicted to be my killer. So he had that fear. And all the friends of Kamsa, they were saying, oh my gosh, he doesn't look like a young man. He looks very powerful, To them, Krishna appeared a person who had big muscle, big strength. Krishna would appear to them like death personified. So everybody in the assembly, they had all types of people, and they all perceived Krishna differently. All perceived Krishna differently. And Krishna will have reciprocation with those personality differently also. Gopis saw Krishna as an object of love. Gopas saw object of friendship. So Krishna would have reciprocation in Vatsalya, Madhurya, Dasya, Shakha, Vibhatsava, whichever way people are looking at, Krishna will have that type of relationship. So what is the application for this one? Vedesu durlabh, adurlabhu atma bhaktu. Krishna is Vedesu durlabha. If somebody wants to understand Krishna by studying the Veda, reciting the big verses, big, doing the big yajna with their intelligence, if somebody wants to capture Krishna, durlabha. Durlabha means rare, very difficult. But adurlabha atma bhaktu is very easily obtained to his devotee. So Krishna has both sides of it. Okay, for devotee, he is easily achieved, very easy. Bhaktyamavadhijanati, Krishna says. But for a bhakta, very hard. So he has way to communicate with people, bhav, emotion. Je yatha mam parpadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham. whatever degree one surrendered, up to that degree, I award. In Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma is being taught by Lord himself, third canto. So Brahma says, my dear Lord, talking to Lord himself directly, Lord Brahma, talking to Vishnu, saying, my dear Lord, you are easily available for your bhakta. Easily, they can easily find you. And demigod, they can find you, but you are not very happy with them. Why? Because they still have some tinge of material attachment. But the people who are in the material world, people who are abhakta, non-believer in you, they would never ever can find you. And their whole life will end up playing with you Bhaya Sakti. Bhaya means external. So Krishna has two potencies, two strength, two energy. Antarang Shakti, internal potency, and Virang Shakti, external potency. So Brahma is saying that, in fact, Lord Vidura is saying on behalf of Lord Brahma, that they can never get to you because they are dealing with your external energy. So Akhila Samrita Sindhu here refers to Krishna, how Krishna is present, Krishna's availability to his people, his object, his subject to different person. He is present in different degree. Okay, so it's very important for us to understand that if you don't have faith in Krishna, that means we are lacking something. We have to work on our faith. We have to, how come, there is one great devotee in Indian Vedic teaching. Her name is Mirabai. She said that there is nobody else I know. I only know Krishna. Mere to Girdhar Gopal dusro na koi. She says that I don't know anybody. I only know Krishna. What type of dedication she had for Krishna? Our Acharya, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he says, Ami to tomar, tomi to amar. He wrote a beautiful prayer. In that prayer, he says that I am yours and you are mine. Okay, so that type of possessiveness we have to develop. Bhakti means being very possessive of Krishna, feeling very close, like we are very possessive of our son, our wife, our husbands. Prabhu, you are mine. I'm like that, right? So having that type of relationship with Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in each relationship, there is dealing. So Krishna is the ocean of all the dealing. Okay, so that's the point we have to understand. And then Vibhin Tattva. There are Vibhin Amsha. There are living entity. There are two types of living entity. Jivare Prakar hoye. Jivare, there are two types of living entity. Two types of living entity. Nitya Badha and Nitya Mukta. There are living entity who are fully liberated. And there are living entity who are conditioned. But both are part and parcel of the personality of Godhead. Okay, that's a very important concept. Nothing is free from living entity. Either they are liberated or they are conditioned. But the jivas are the soul that are subjected to the covering of Lord's Baha energy. Okay, so there are two types of living entity, Nitya Mukta and Nitya Siddha. Nitya, eternally bound and eternally liberated. Okay, who are eternally bound? The one who are subjected to the Lord's material energy. So living entity like us, who are in this material world, we are subjected to Lord Bahir Shakti. Trigunya Visaya Veda, Nestrigunya Bhavarjuna. There are, we are dealing with Lord's guna, mode of passion, mode of goodness, and mode of ignorance. So we are dealing with guna. Okay, that's what the Badh Jiva does. Trigunya Visaya Veda, Nestrigunya Bhavarjuna. Oh Arjun, these guna are the dealings of the material minded people. We deal with these things. Prabhu, acha hai, wo acha hai, this is good. This is all material thing, liking, disliking, it's all material. Nestar Gunya Bhavarjuna, come out of it, come out of it. So if you want to be pure devotee, you have to come out of it. But the living entity who are Badh Jiva, their dealings are with the material energy. And liberated Jiva are the Jivas which are dealing with Krishna Antaranga Shakti. Okay, like great, personalities such as Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, all of these were like great personality. Okay, they came to this material world, but they walked on this planet without having any attachment to anything. So they are liberated, and his energy is manifested as Achinta Bheda Bhed Tattva. So, see, this is as it is. So this thing came here. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, what is the philosophy? Our philosophy is Achint Bhed Abhed Tattva. Simultaneously oneness and difference. Now, to make that concept more clear, I'll have to get into a different presentation, which is due. I'll at some point I'll tell you, okay, that what are the different sampradaya, what are their teaching, and from where Achinta Bhed Abhed Tattva come. But the literal meaning of Bhed and Abhed, what is the Bhed? Bhed is difference. And Abhed is non-difference. Okay, so this philosophy is telling us that simultaneously there is oneness and then there is difference, because this is a huge fight that happens in Vedic philosophy. This is a very important concept that our acharyas have tried to give it to us. Dvaita or Advaita. This is a very big thing, okay? Dvaita or Advaita. If you really look at the entire world and type of belief that they have either Advaita belief, or then when they say monoism, they're very much saying, that everything is one Lord. We are also Lord, you are also Lord. Everybody on the Zoom call is Lord. You all are Lord. You don't know. You have lost your identity. That's Advaita philosophy. And Dvaita philosophy is that no, there is Bhagwan Tattva and then there is Jiv Tattva. Okay? These Tattva are always segregated, but in a special case, they are, or they may be very close. They may be very similar. And Prabhupada said that living entity has qualities which are similar. If those qualities are fully manifested, then these are similar to quality of Supreme Personality of Godhead. But it's only in quality, not in the quantity. An example is given that a drop of water, if you do the chemical analysis, 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen, that's the chemical composition. Doesn't matter if you have 1 bucket of water or ocean of water. Chemical composition does not change. The content of salt in a drop of water versus pool of water does not change. But there is oneness and there is difference. This oneness is achintya. Chintya means thought. Something that can be perceived by our intelligence. Okay, achintya. This is beyond one's thinking and speculation. So this oneness, one should not think that, wherever I am, however I am, whatever state and condition I am in, I have become the God. No, there is some oneness, but achintaya. Okay, and how you understand that? Through the process of devotional service. Okay, so achinta veda ved tattva. Please remember that. If somebody will say, what is the philosophy that we follow in Brahmada Gaura Sampradaya? When we say Brahma, Madhava, Madhava very clearly taught duality. Okay, Dvaita philosophy. Okay, he said that in all the jiva, Vayu Mahan, and in all the form of the God, Vishnu is Mahan. Okay, so that's Dvaita philosophy. And later, the same philosophy Mahaprabhu put together, and he said that this can be also be Achinta Veda Bhetattva, simultaneously oneness and differences. So we'll talk about that. This is a subject that is still due, but at least at this point I wanted to make you understand what is Bhed and Aved. Bhed means difference, Aved means not difference. Simultaneously difference and oneness. But this is Achintya. Okay, so Veda is the Praman, Sri Hari is the Param Tattva. He is all powerful. He is Akhila Samrita Sindhu. He has two potency, that is Nitya and Nitya Badha and Nitya Mukta. Badha jivas are those jivas who are conditioned by his external energy, and Mukta jivas are those who are free from his external energy. Means they are part of his internal energy. But this oneness and difference is, there is oneness and there is difference, but this is achintya. But doesn't matter it's oneness or a difference. Okay, all of these living entity, okay, their goal is to do bhakti. As it is means these things. Okay, Prabhupada, Prabhupada is writing the commentary on, you will read the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada will write the commentary on Guni Bhuta Bhakti, Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, Kaivalya Bhakti, and talk about Bhakti, Bhakti, Bhakti. He is writing the commentary on Karma Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Astanga Yoga, and all 6 chapters appears that is talking about Bhakti Yoga. Why? Because Bhakti is the goal. Bhakti is the goal. It's not that by jnana or by, yes, does it help? Yeah, Prabhupada never denied it. But according to Das Mula Tattva, bhakti is the goal. And bhakti for whom? Bhakti for whom? Krishna. Okay, devotional service should be done to Krishna. Ekale Sware Krishna Arasava Bharya. Devotional service should be done to Swayam Rupa Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who is source of all the sources. Prabhu, I also was born in India. I have learned so many other things, but it took a lot of time. But if you get really into the philosophy and if you understand it very well, very nicely, then everything else will be very clear to you. You will have no confusion. You will have due respect for everything, and you will understand the position where it belongs to, where it holds, on the rack. You have the books, something in the lower rack, something in the second rack, something in the third rack, fourth rack, fifth rack, and all the on the top rack. When somebody will ask you, where is this book, you'll go and pull it out, in which rack it is. Exactly like that. Okay, so not to be confused. In the beginning, you might have some questions, but if you really follow the philosophy very carefully, at some point everything will become clear. So Krishna, Prema, Pumya, Artho, Mahan. What is the object of living entity? What is the main objective of the living entity? Through the process of devotional service, developing love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is object of all the worship, who is all opulent, who is the person who can reciprocate with all the melo, and that Supreme Lord has different energy. Some is liberated energy, some is bound energy. We call it Badha and Mukta. These living entities are playing, with different parts of Lord's energy. But ultimately, they all have to come together, engage in devotional service, and develop the pure love for Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. So this is as it is. Sometimes we'll talk about supremacy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we are talking about his Virat Rupa, his Vibhuti, Bhagavad Gita, we are talking about his opulences, but we are still talking about Krishna. Okay, we are talking about Krishna so that we can have the rati, we can have devotion to that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so these are the subject. Now, as we go along, you would see our acharyas are talking for these things. Okay, as it is does not mean that something else. These 10 elements have to be there. So, in light of these 10 elements, when you see the commentary, you would see Prabhupada's commentary is as it is commentary, because Prabhupada is saying that one should engage in devotional service. Rupa Goswami has given us the nectar of devotion. And in nectar of devotion, Prabhupada, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, he is talking about bhakti, how to do bhakti. Bhakti for whom? Swam Rupa, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And then he talks about Achinta Ved Ved Tattva, types of living entity. He starts with Akhilas Amrita Sindhu. So you will see that these elements are there wherever our acharyas have tried to taught us about devotional service. They are talking about these elements. So it's very, very important, extremely important that we know what the subject we are going to deal with. Okay. So anybody has anything before I move to the next slide? So this is the point that I wanted to drive to, this slide, that as it is means these 10 points. Okay, wherever these 10 points are, we are talking as it is. Yes, Krishna Priti, Krishna is going to talk about Ham Saraswat Prabha, Mat Saraswat, he's talking about himself. It's about Krishna. Krishna is talking about, his devotional service, everything that you hear. It's part, it's one of the element of this 10 elements that we are seeing. So I'll give some time to share any realization, any questions you have. I have 2 more slides and then we'll be done with this theme, and we'll move to Bhagavad Gita, going to from next class. So any questions anybody has, any input, any? Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept.
Is it clear, Prabhu? Is it clear first?
Yes. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
in the 9th and 10th, Prabhuji, so Shuddha Bhakti and Krishna Preeti. So Krishna Preeti is the derivative of a Shuddha Bhakti, or is that something that we have to inculcate to get the Krishna?
So Shuddha Bhakti is the means by which we get the goal of Krishna Priti. Is that clear, Prabhu?
Yes.
Okay. So, Anavilasita Sunyam Gyan Karmadya Navritam, bhakti has to be pure. Okay. In order for us to have the pure Priti, Shuddh Priti, unalloyed love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, your devotion must be free, pure. And what is that free and pure devotion? Anavilasita Sunyam, no other desire, Prabhu. Gyan karma. No, I don't want to be Gyani. I don't want to be a great karmi. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Kavita vajagatis kamaye. Mam janmani janmani share bhatad bhakti hetu kitoi. Not for the dhan, not for the follower, not for the name, not for the fame, not for the power, nothing. Asila seva padamratan pinasto mam. My dear Lord, whatever, however you like, treat with me.
So, in our devotional practice, the Shuddha Bhakti, the formation of doing the Shuddha Bhakti, is it possible in the initial stages, or what is a progression of this reaching that Shuddha Bhakti?
That's what we'll basically study in Bhakti, in our Bhakti Shastri course. That's, especially in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is the, book compiled by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami has given the process. What are the process of bhakti? How you can come to the pure devotion. It's very important. that we study these books systematically, understand the philosophy of these books, and remember it. So yes, Prabhu, there is it's called sadhana, steps, right? So one has to go through that step. Like for example, if you have to go to first story from the ground floor, then you have steps, right? Then you get on the first floor. So in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami has given us that, okay, if you want to be Prema Bhakta, then how to become the Prema Bhakta. And there are stages: Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivriti, slowly and slowly Nistha, Asakti, Bhava, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and then Prema. So Prema is Krishna Priti, okay? But it has to start with Shraddha. Shraddha, first step. Faith. You all are here. We all are here. At least we have some faith. Okay. Shraddha. Very important. Sadhu Sanghas, Sunday feast, 4 hours kirtan, festivity, Maharaj Vyas Puja. It's all giving the opportunity to associate with sadhu. So Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bhajan. Comes from Bhaj Dhatu, chanting the name of Krishna. So have some Shraddha first. Shraddha is the very basic. If there is no Shraddha, then you would not join Bhakti Sastra course. You would not have any interest to know about Krishna. So maybe the full knowledge is not there, but Shraddha is there. So Shraddha is very first step. So Shraddha, with that Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, like-minded people will hear in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Rupa Goswami will teach who to associate. Okay, so you do sadhu sangha, and then in association of devotee, we do bhajan kriya. Like just few days back, Uday Prabhu was talking about the devotees are gathered together, and I saw people chanting. In association of devotee, Mangala Arti that we do. Prabhu, I have Bhagavatam class going on. What sadhu sangha is going on in their association? Bhajan kriya. Reading Bhagavatam, talking about the Bhagavatam. Okay, so Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, and Anarth Nivriti, free from the offenses. So there are offenses against Bhagwan, there are offenses against living entity, Jiva Aprad, Dev Aprad, Archu Vigraha Aprad. There are different types of offenses, okay? So we are trying to come out of these offenses. Once these 4 stages are crossed, then Nistha comes, where you have a firm faith. श्रद्धा शब्द विश्वास कहे दृढ़ निश्चय Krishna bhakti kaile sarvakar siddhiyaya. You will come to that stage where you'll think that just by doing Krishna bhakti I can get everything done. I don't have to go door to door, bell to bell, do thousands of the things and thinking that everything will help. No, just by Krishna bhakti sarvasiddhiyaya. This is what teaching Chaitanya Charitamrita gives. And then after that, it slowly comes. So we'll talk about that. This is a completely separate topic. But since you brought it, I just wanted to give you some hint that yes, there is process given, and we have to slowly. You can basically, Prabhupada, said that Krishna consciousness is a science. What does it mean? Means you can check. You can check how much love you have for Krishna. You can put the thing in your hand and you can figure it out, that how much love you have awakened for Krishna. So this process is so defined that everything will be known to you as you progress. Nadia Mata, you wanted to ask or share something?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.
I was Prabhupada.
Of course. Like you mentioned, this Mataji, she said, Krishna is mine and I'm his. How does it, like, I thought you can't have a direct relationship with Krishna without Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. Right, that's true. I mean, yes. So through a spiritual master, you can develop the relationship. You can. Yes, that's true. So that's fair. That's correct statement, Mataji. But Bhakti Vinod Thakur, when he says that Ami to Tomar, Tomi to Amar, there are 8 principal elements, that's another discussion, of our devotional expression. So if you are in love with Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are 8 ways we can express Krishna Kam, Krishna Nam, Krishna Dham. That's another topic that maybe at some point I'll bring it. There are 8, elements that has to happen. If you have a love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, then these 8 elements have to be there. So once we are in very advanced stage of Krishna consciousness, not in the very beginning stage. In the beginning stage, tad vidhi panipatena, pranipasthena suneya, updechanti te gyanam, gyani sattvadarshina. We have to go and learn this science of Krishna consciousness from our spiritual master. But with a spiritual master working under him, he will slowly and slowly, from nowhere to bring it to Kanishta, then bring it to Madhuma, then bring it to Madhikari, then take it to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada will take it to his Acharya, to his Acharya. And when we are going from one Acharya to other Acharya, what does it mean? You are developing your mood. You are purifying yourself. Ultimately, you go to 6 Goswami, right? And through 6 Goswami, finally you come to Mahaprabhu. So that's very high stage. So this statement that I gave is for a very higher stage. But in every stage, as you said, that's correct. We don't, in Prabhupada, there is Chaitanya Chaitanya has a verse. It says that once we langhe means cross. Once we cross the spiritual master, then we have no shelter. We have shelter only as long as we are working on the direction of a spiritual master. So yes, we are never crossing the mercy of a spiritual master. That's true. Is that good enough, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else anybody has? Okay, so this 10 Mul Tattva, 10 Mul Tattva is given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur from his book Jaya Dharma. And then Mahaprabhu's Bhakta. Okay, I can summarize this word. So this 10 element can be the whole Shastric teaching. This is another important point I would like to know. The entire Vedic teaching talks about these 3 elements: Sambandha, Avidya, and Prayojana. Sambandha, Avidya, and Prayojana. Sambandha, Avidya, and Prayojana. That Mataji was asking, and I was answering that, Amito Tomar Tomito Amar, it's Prayojana. It's very, very advanced stage, okay? But that's how we are promoting ourselves in Krishna consciousness. The science that we deal with, sometimes we are talking about Sambandha, okay? Sometimes we're talking about Abhidheya, and sometimes we're talking about Prayojana. What is Sambandha? Sambandha is a relationship. So Krishna, through his teaching, has given sufficient explanation, has spoken sufficiently to understand what is our relationship with Krishna. For example, Jivare Sarup Hoye Nitere Krishna Das. What is the form of Krishna? Oh, they are always in devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mamayansa Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. All of these living entities are my part and parcel. Aham Bij Pradapita. I am the seed-giving father. So what is this all telling us? Sambandha. We have a father. It's not like that we have no relationship with Krishna. That's, because it's very hard for a living entity to attach to somebody who you don't have a relationship with. Like, for example, outsider and insider, they say, right? You have a lot of affection for somebody who is inside your family. If I talk to, Anjali Mataji, she would say, I love Sunny. Why? Because Sunny is her daughter, right? So it's like that. Why she loves Sunny? Because Sunny has some sambandha with her. Okay, so most of the time we think, oh, Krishna is somebody up here, I'm somebody here. He's up there in the above, in a spiritual world. I'm here in the material world. I have nothing to do. I don't know who the person. Krishna gives a lot of facts and figures to prove that no, we have sambandha. So that's first element. There is relationship. Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when there is relationship, what happens? In that relationship, there is some responsibility that we have to do. Husband has some responsibility for the wife. Wife have some responsibility for the husbands. Right? Relationship means some degree of interdependency. You cannot say that that's not true. There is sambandha, means there is some interdependency. Where are you? Did you make food for me? I'm coming. I'll be half an hour home. Can you make something for me? I would like to eat something warm. From where it's coming? All coming from sambandha. So that is second topic, which means once you have the relationship, then we are working under that relationship. And what that action is doing for us is strengthening our sambandha, developing more love. And that's called pariyojana. That's the goal. So living entity, we as a living entity have to have relationships with the personality of Godhead, and that is the Shraddha stage. In Shraddha, we develop our sambandha, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then we start engaging ourselves in the process of bhakti, that is avidya. And with that avidya, finally, we come to the stage of Krishna Priti, that is pariyojana. Okay, so these 10 original elements are divided into these three segments: sambandha, avidya, and pariyojana. Okay, so avidya, Prabhuji when asked Prabhu what is Shuddha Bhakti versus Krishna Bhakti, I said Shuddha Bhakti is the means and pariyojana is the goal. Pariyojana, so avidya is the methods and pariyojana is the goal. Okay, you are here for sure. You want to get the certificate of Bhakti Sastri, but that is not all. If I'm doing only that, then it's not good. We are also learning together what is bhakti, how to do bhakti, and develop our devotion towards Krishna. That's the goal. That's the goal. Okay, so these 9, in fact the 10, but the first one is pramana itself, and 9 of those are premaya. So these 9 elements are sambandha, avidya, and pariyojana. So it's very, very important to know what is the goal of everything that we are doing, this verse says. So we just saw that there are 10 elements, and then we are going to see, I don't know what happened. Then we are going to see, this is a beautiful verse that summarize those 10 things in 5 points. Okay, so this is also one of the important verse that you have to know. At least the teaching, the essential learning that will come out of this verse, we have to know. So this verse was compiled by Srinath Chakravarti, whose spiritual master was Kavi Karnapur, and he composed this particular verse for Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is Krishna. So he says, Aradhya Bhagwan Brajastanyas Tadhamam Vrindavanam Ramya Kasid Upasna Brajabadhu Pargenava Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Mamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tatradraha Naparaha Aradhya Bhagwan Brajastanyas Tadhamam Vrindavanam Ramya Kasid Upasna Brajabadhu Vargena Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Mamalam Prema Pum Artho Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matam Vidam Tatradrahana Paraha. So Aradhya Bhagwan Parjestanyas. There are so many objects of our worship. Prabhu, this is as it is. These 5 points will tell you everything. There are so many objects of worship, but aradhya, aradhana, if you know a little bit Sanskrit, aradhya Bhagwan. Prajestanya. Who is the object of our worship? That Bhagwan who appeared as sons of Mother Yashoda. So that's Brajavasi. So son of Mother Yashoda is the object of one's aradhana. Okay? And his abode is Vrindavan. Okay? Where Tadadhamam, Tadadhama Vrindavanam. His dham, his abode is Vrindavan. And how he should be worshipped? Ramya Kasid Upasna Brajbadhu Vargenava Kalpita. How he should be worshipped? He should be worshipped like the way Brajbadhu. Who is Brajbadhu? Gopis. So how one should worship Sri Krishna? The way Brajbadhu did. Oh, this is powerful. This verse we always memorize, okay? Always chant, always, chanting this verse. How the worship should be done? Mere to Girdhar Gopal, we just said, Braj Badhu, they did not know anything. They did not know if Krishna is the God. All they knew is how to love Krishna. They loved Krishna, okay? Without any reservation. That's Ahituki, Shuddha Bhakti. So, Ramya Kashid Upasana, how to do the Upasana? Brajbadhu Vargena Kalpita, the way Brajbadhu did. And where we find this process of loving the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Veda. Remember? This is the same thing, said in different way. If you like, I can break it down for you. But the process of devotional service should be learned from Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because this is Amlam Puran. Amlam, spotless. There is no spot. No, like if you look at the moon, you'll see that there are some spots, on the moon. You see somebody's beautiful face, but then you see that there is some black spot here, some marking here and there, But Amlam Puranam, Srimad Bhagavatam is spotless, beautiful, beautiful Purana, and it does not have any spot. And what is the object? Okay, so it says Prema, Puma, Artho, Maha. You know what is Artha? Artha is basically occupation that we do. Arth Kam Mokshai, right? Say that we are working very hard for what? For money. Okay, so living entity or working, they are engaged, they are busy in earning something. But out of all the earning, what is the best earning? This says Puma means living entity, living being, all the living being. So Pum Artho means the main occupation of living entity. What is the main occupation? Prema Mahan. Having the love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, for Supreme Lord, is Mahan, is the greatest achievement. Greatest of the greatest achievement. So this verse says that having the Krishna Priti object, right? This is basically Prayojana. Krishna Priti for everybody, for all living entity. Doesn't matter Indian, American, Mexican, European, wherever you are, however you are. Jesus Christ also taught that have love. All we are doing is that we're trying to provoke the love. No matter where you are. Love God. We all are supposed to love God. We should have love for God. So, Krishna, Prema, Pum, Artho, Mahan. The most powerful achievement of the living entity, the most beneficial business, occupation of living entity is to engage in devotional service that will lead to the unalloyed devotion of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, tatra adraha apraha. There is nothing beyond this. This is the 5 essential truths that living entity has to know. Who has to be worshipped? Bajastanyas, the son of Yashoda, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, and his abode, Sambandha, his abode is Vrindavan. And how should be worshipped? Shuddha Bhakti that we saw, Upasana, worship, it should be worshipped like the way gopis worship Krishna. And the method of worship one should learn from studying Srimad Bhagavatam. And what that will do, it will lead to the pure love, unalloyed devotion for Supreme Personality of Godhead. So as it is means this thing. When it's talking about Krishna, it's talking about Vrindavan, it's talking about Gopis, talking about Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's talking about getting the pure love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we are talking about as it is. Uday Prabhuji, clear so far?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Making sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
So that's what as it is. So when Prabhupada says Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita as it is, as a devotee, if somebody comes and asks why you have as it is, then you should be able to say Radh Bhagwan Brajestanya Sadhaman Vrindavanam. Why it is as it is? Because it talks about Supreme Personality of Godhead. It talks about his worship. It helps us understand that object of everything that we are doing is to engage the unalloyed devotion, provoke the unalloyed devotion for Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay? So these 2 slides in itself are sufficient to help us understand. But to back it up, since we are Brahmada Gaura Sampradaya, there are similar understanding in other Sampradaya also. And these are non-different. These are very similar. So Madhvacharya also gave these 9 points. Okay, that's called Naratna. 9 essential teaching of Madhvacharya. So we are Brahmada Gaura Sampradaya. We follow almost same teaching. So Madhvacharya says what he says. See, Vishnu is the greatest entity, number 1. And this world is real. This world is real. But there is some difference between Ishwar and Jiva. We saw that, right? Same thing. He says the Jivas are Hari followers, Hari Anucharaha, and the Jivas have hierarchy among them. So when he says hierarchy, he's saying that there are Badha Jiva and there are Mukta Jiva. Okay, similar teaching. Okay, liberation is to experience the bliss according to the capacity of the Jiva. This is basically Akhilasamrita Sindhu. According to the bliss, how much bliss we experience, that depends on the capacity of the Jiva. How much we have engaged ourselves in devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the means is to attain liberation. The means is to attain liberation through the process of bhakti. Okay, very similar, very similar. There are 3 main pramanas: Pratyaksha, Anuman, and Sabda. And through all of these pramanas, one has to know Hari. So the essential teaching of all the Veda is to know the Hari. So same, very similar thing. That's why we are, Madhvacharya Anugama. We are followers of Madhvacharya Anugamihi. Why? Because on surface, maybe it will appear different, but philosophically, if you look at it, we very much believe in the teaching that was presented by Madhvacharya. Okay, so Brahm, Madhav, Gauriya, Sampradaya. Okay, very, beautifully these points are explained. So now I'll take some questions. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Dhanavad.
Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah,
So,
Dhanavad Pranam, Prabhu.
So in that slide, Prabhu, like whatever Madhva's teaching, yes, Madhvacharya is teaching. So I think one that is not there is the Abheda, right? So I mean so we have Achintya Bheda. I see like there is one related to differences between Jivatma and Paramatma, but
Yeah.
there is not. I mean, so one thing that I don't find here is the Abheda point. Is that true,
Yeah.
Prabhu?
So, no, that's good catch. So Madhvacharya, his teaching was Dvaita philosophy. So that's why he's saying that the Ishwar and Jiva, these are categorically different. The Jiva and Ishwara are, they are different, So that was his teaching. So what happens is that Sankaracharya, his teaching was that Advaita, you know that, right? He said that, Aham Brahmasmi, all the living entities are Brahman. And he promoted Veda on the name of Vedic, and he gave the reference to the Upanishad and said that, there is only one Brahman Satya Jagat Mithya, this whole material world is Mithya, okay? And there is only Brahman, and everything is coming from this Brahman, and at the end of the day, everything will go into that Brahman. There is nothing, except Brahman, right? So Madhvacharya came right after that, and he said that no, that's not true. There is a reality in the material world also, but the living entity who are Jiva, they will stay Jiva. They would not be anytime Ishvara. You will be always Jiva. Okay, you will never become Ishvara. Jiva is Jiva and Ishvara is Ishvara. Okay, so he said that don't get into this confusion that will become one. He completely segregated it. Madhvacharya said that this is completely two different compartments. Jiva is here and Ishvara is here. They have nothing similarity. Later, after so many years, after so many of his disciples, Madhavendra Puri came, and he very much preached about Vishnu, about Krishna. And then later in that sampradaya, in same sampradaya, Mahaprabhu came. And Mahaprabhu said that, he kind of very much consoled the teaching that was given by Shankaracharya and Madhvacharya. And he said that, that's not true, that it's completely segregated. And that's also not true that they are one. He said that there is some oneness and there is some difference, but one has to engage in the process of devotional service to understand that oneness and difference. He said this is achintya. Achintya means it's not something very cheap. It's not very cheap. He said that, engage in devotional service, do bhakti, then you'll understand what is the oneness and what is the difference. Okay, so that's why we are basically follower of Madhvacharya, because we do believe, we don't accept that we'll become Lord. That's not what we preach. So that makes us, follower of Madhvacharya. But also, Mahaprabhu kind of a little bit went ahead and he said that there is oneness also, and that oneness is only qualitative. The oneness is in terms of quality, such as the drop of water and ocean of water. Krishna is ocean of water, we are drop of the water. So some quality we might have similar to Krishna, but Krishna is separate and we are separate. But if there is some oneness, this oneness is just only on the quality. Okay, that is the profound teaching. Busy? Yeah, in the class. 2 minutes. I'm in the class, Prabhu. 2 minutes. No, I'm in with so many people. I guess. So that's what basically is the philosophical understanding. So yes, up to this point, Achinta Ved Tattva is not there. Madhvacharya very much, and this is a not to be emotional, but this is philosophy given by our Acharya. Shankaracharya is also Lord Shiva himself. So he had his purpose. He came on this planet to do something very important, because when Lord Vishnu came as Lord Buddha, he preached that one should not believe in Veda. He completely, kicked out the Veda. No faith in Veda. He was Vishnu himself. So he can do whatever he wants to do. Buddha can do whatever he wants because he was Vishnu. So he completely, said that no more killing, ahimsa paramo dharma. The topmost religion is that we become non-violent and don't worry about this Veda and all of these things. So Lord Shiva himself came as Shankaracharya. He said that now Veda has to be installed. Veda has to be established. So he very much brought the Veda. But he brought the Veda. He saw that people are too far off. I cannot bring everything together at one time. So he said, okay, let's establish the Veda and tell people to accept Veda, saying that you are the Narayan. So they will, easily, oh, I'm Bhagwan, I was God. I did not even know that I was in forgetfulness of that. So living entity got attracted, oh, I'm Bhagwan. All I have to do is that, find out where is my Bhagwanness, So Shankaracharya did like that. And he's, never ever, he's associates of Supreme Personality of Godhead, okay? So he has his purpose. Then after that, Shankaracharya, then Madhvacharya came. Madhvacharya came, I need to now emphasize a little bit more. He says that, no, we are not one, we are different, okay? And then after that, Ramanujacharya came. Ramanujacharya came and he said that there are some living entity, Vishishtadvaita, there are some living entity who are very similar, like Srimati Radharani or Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi, and Jiva Tattva, but she is associates of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he said that there are some Vayu, some of the other Hanuman. He said these living entities are almost like God, they're very close to God. So they say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or if you go back, Shankaracharya bought the land. Shankaracharya bought the land. And Madhvacharya built the temple. Okay. And Ramanujacharya installed the deity. And Mahaprabhu came and said how to do Aarti. So we should not see these contributions separately. Okay. Although Prabhupada has commented a lot on Mayavadi versus Brahmanwadi, but you have to first understand that. What is Mayavadi? What is Brahmanwadi? Okay. Shankaracharya teaching was Brahmanwadi, not Mayavadi. We'll talk about all of that later. So the point here is that all of these acharyas have made significant contribution. If there is no land, how to build the building? If there is no building, how you can install deity? If there is no deity, how you can do Aarti? Right? So like that, all of these great personalities, they have worked together today to give us the powerful, understanding of the bhakti process. Today, the process that we have in front of us, that's the combination of all of their contributions. Okay. So that's how you see, don't see like that. Okay. If Mahaprabhu is saying like that, then it's different than what Madhvacharya said. No. There was time, place, and circumstances. Based upon that, these acharyas have to do whatever they had to do to make it more attractive for the people. So that's how you see. Okay, Prabhu?
Got it.
So yes, at that time, when Madhvacharya was preaching, he preached Dvaita. So you will see his picture, 2 finger, you'll see, Vayu, Jivotam, Vayu, Narotam, Vayu, and Sarvotam, Vishnu. He says, all the nar, whatever, living entities are, Uttam is Vayu, which is Lord Hanuman. And all the living, all the form of Lord Vishnu. So he said that, Vishnu and Vayu. Vayu is Jiva. And so Vayu and Vishnu, they are 2 different entities. So that's what he tried to teach us. That we are different than Bhagwan. Okay? That's what it is. And we are. We do believe, even today we believe that, yes, living entity and Lord, there are 2 different entities. Clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So you have to be very, very careful and respectful with this Shastric understanding. We don't quickly jump over and start saying things. We are no one. I'm no one. No, most of us, unless and until we become pure devotee, I know we should not think that we are become so big to say something about someone. These personalities are Lord Himself. They're not ordinary person. Madhvacharya or Ramanujacharya or Shankaracharya. These are very, 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 very big person. They're all parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They came to do some service. They were sent to do some service, and they did 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, like that. They all were kind of supportive of each other. Complementary, supplementary. They're supplementary. They all contributed together. Slowly and slowly, they taught us the right philosophy. So that's how we have to see. We don't go too much without thinking about these things, without understanding the depth. This is our shallowness. So we have to be very matured in our understanding. But we have to follow the teaching that is given by Mahaprabhu, teaching that is given by Krishna himself through the Bhagavad Gita and all other places. Okay, anything else anybody has?
No, I don't have any question, Prabhu, but I just want to say one comment. I really like the way that you put together all these acharyas. An example of, Shankaracharya brought the land, Madhvacharya built the temple, Ramanujacharya put the Archaka Vigraha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Arati.
Prabhu, your voice is very, very low, Prabhu, Sugana Prabhu.
Yeah.
So that,
yes, now I can hear.
Yeah, that analogy is really, really, really powerful, Prabhu. Thank you so much. I think that clarifies a lot of things. And also, you made a statement. These are all the very exalted devotees.
Oh my God!
I can share a little bit background there, if I can, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, previously before Shankaracharya, I've listened through this, from Acharyas. Before Shankaracharya, the Vedas was established, and after when the Vedas is the Karma Kanda is becoming so much prevalent, and that is created a lot of non-violence. They are killing a lot of jivas in the name of sacrifices, and to put the rest, and also a lot of the Vedas misuses are happening, and
Yeah.
Lord Vishnu has descended in the form of Buddha to just disconnect it, that non-violences for some time. But again, the Vedas, the whole universe is running on the Vedas, and that's when the Shankaracharya brought back the Vedas. And then because the duality of the concept, if it is given after the non-violence, it's going to be really too much for the jivas to absorb it. And then Shankaracharya just said okay, Aham Brahmasmi. Again, Madhvacharya clarified it's a two. Refinement is happening as a progress. The knowledge is being increased. So the refinement, and finally Mahaprabhu given the real purpose of what the jivas has to do in relation to the Krishna. So very nicely.
Yeah. All right. Don't here is the thing. As a living entity, you have to be very chesty. Like wives are very chesty for the husbands. Those wives are worshipped. Those are worshipped. Chesty wives or Vedic wives are worshipped. In the Veda. Why? Because they are too chesty to their husband. They would not look at anybody. So that chastity is what needed in bhakti also. Very important. We need to be chesty. Okay, and you are not losing anything. Nobody will lose anything. Okay, we don't have to be fanatic.
Correct.
You be very profound. You be very big. In your understanding of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada was very profound. But we have to say the right thing. We have to say the right thing at the right time. Okay, be very broad in your Krishna consciousness. Very broad, and understand. The aspects of everything. In one family, you have to say, if just to run a family, you have to say different things depending on what type of situation you are dealing with. So these acharyas are like that. They ran the entire material world, and they said what was good for that time, but they also added later also. Shankaracharya says Bhaj Govinda, Bhaj Govinda, Bhaj Govinda Murmu. Who sang that? The Jagannath Ashtakam prayer that we sing, that is written by Shankaracharya. Okay, but different time, if the very nicely you said, people were very much abusing the Vedic teaching, abusing. So Lord Buddha, Krishna himself came, dharma seglani bhavati bharata. He said, stop, too much. Stop killing this innocent animal. And this Kali Yuga, people are killing, slaughterhouse. See, buddhi bhrashta, people mind is getting completely deluded. Okay, their memory is getting lost, they have all the stuff going on. Why? It's happening. It's happening. So, yes, we have to be very chesty at the same time. Teaching that is given by us. And why? Ek sadhe sab sadhe. If you follow one path, you understand that path very carefully, very profoundly, very deeply, it will help you understand everything. Srila Prabhupada had due respect for Jesus Christ. For everything. Prabhupada exactly understood the purpose of all the belief.
Yes.
Okay? Why? Because he had very deeply understood the science of Krishna consciousness. In 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is discussion, division of faith. Why there are divisions in the faith? If you understand that, then you respect everybody. Okay, somebody on the first step, somebody on the second step, somebody on the third, fourth, fifth, like that. Different steps. But ultimately, everybody is looking at the higher step. Okay, so everybody has utility. Utility is the principle Prabhupada said. You have to understand the utility of the particular position, and then move on. So yes, you said very nicely, and we will build on this slowly. You will learn a lot. I'll definitely bring a lot of subject from different places to give you some broader perspective on this subject. So you would like it. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anything anybody has? Can we adjourn now? Nadia Mataji, is this your picture or you have done some artificial intelligence? Huh? Are you there?
I think.
Yes, Hare Krishna, I'm here. It's
This
a
is your
AI thing.
picture or did you do some artificial intelligence?
It's a little bit AI, yes, sir.
You have your picture and then you ask them to do some AI on my picture.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
It looks nice, Mataji. Thank
So
you
one
so
more.
much. Thank you.
So
Vanshkalpatarvesya kripa sindhu vyayavasya paritanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namo. Anant koti vaishnava vrinda ki jai. Dandot pranam. Hare Krishna.